Holding position and awaiting further orders.
All right, let's do this.
Agent Squad, come in.
Agents reporting in. We read you loud and clear, Captain.
We just shut down the enemy's jamming equipment.
Agent Squad, are there any ether transmission terminals inside the control room?
Steve, don't go darting too fast.
Roger. New objective. Shut down the ether transmission system.
Increase firepower. The target's exposed. Adjusting for wind.
Not over yet.
You're in my sight.
Yahoo!
Supporting position.
Let's do this. I love that Seed uses a scooter to travel around. A scooter to travel. It's so cool.
Remote support. In position. The ether transmission system has been shut down.
Great. That cuts off the supply of miasma.
We eliminate the remaining enemies and head to the meeting point. Time for us to show what we've got, Obsidian.
Yes, Captain Magus.
Blitz Squad has finished clearing out the remaining enemies.
Roger. Aegis Squad has successfully secured a data copy from the control. Those things look like coffins. They're kind of creepy. What's a coffin?
It's a thing where people are laid to rest.
Laid to rest? Oh, you mean like Seed Senior? There's an unusual silence in the air. Oh. There's an unusual silence in the air. Oh.
The unknown device. Now analyzing. Network communication structure detected.
These devices are interconnected, probably forming part of a larger equipment array. By cracking part of the data, we can locate the other devices.
Looks like Proxy's quite the skilled hacker.
You're amazing, Proxy!
You're not secretly hacking into my brain while I'm asleep, are you?
Hey, come on. I'm a professional. I have standards.
Communication structure analysis. 50% complete.
Those are ether reactors made by Porcelumex. I'm not gonna lie, they look pretty ominous.
Porcelumex? That's the company working with the Exaltists, right?
Not everyone in the company is bad. Hopefully.
Even if they're not all bad, plenty still played a part in this.
That might be true. But most ordinary employees were probably acting under pressure or coercion, right?
And what about you? Were you forced or pressured into becoming a proxy?
This is the only route Blitz Squad can take.
The mission went without a hitch. Great work, everyone.
Seed, you've met them before.
Oh, it's you, Proxy.
You're Seed, right? It's been a while. We met briefly during the Porcelumix investigation.
I remember. Oh, Seed Senior says he remembers too. Shh, he's asleep right now, so he can't talk to you himself. But according to Seed Senior, you're someone who can be trusted. Someone worth trusting. Well, to be honest, it was Trigger and Soldier 11 who told Seed Senior first. And then
Seed Senior? Is that the name of your mech?
He's not a mech! Seed Senior is an intelligent construct, totally different from exoskeleton-based vehicles like mechs. You carry the same scent as me, Proxy. You must be quite knowledgeable in this field. Did you attend classes properly back in...
Strictly speaking, I never really went to a...
Sounds like a lie.
You two have quite a unique way of talking.
You're not much better, Soldier 11.
The Defense Force, or rather, Obel Squad's comms channel, always seems to be tuned to a pretty unusual frequency.
Birds of a feather flock together, as they say.
The Proxy wasn't complimenting us, Soldier 11. You dummy.
Being able to tune into both Seed's and Soldier 11's wavelength at the same time. I have to say, you really are something special.
Wavelength? Are Seed and Soldier 11 intelligent constructs too?
Still, winning over these girls might be easy. But as their commanding officer, I have to assess you with the utmost caution. All right, everyone, that's enough chit-chat. Let's not forget, we're still in the middle of a battlefield here. Although we've tracked down the Exaltists' communication outpost, it seems all that's left are supplies they didn't have time to evacuate with. We came up empty on both the location of the Exaltists' main base and the research data you were looking for, Proxy.
The most efficient way to move such a large amount of supplies in a short time would be through spatial fissures. The Exaltists have been operating in Lemnian Hollow for a long time. They must have access to fissure coordinates that the Defense Force doesn't know about. But no one knows the labyrinths of hollows better than Phaethon.
Phaethon's skills are like magic. Sounds way more impressive than a carrot.
Sounds pretty mysterious. Anyway, you're confident you can catch up with them, right?
I got this. Inside those devices, those are all sacrifices?
Seed, confirm the number of enemies.
Locking onto hostile targets. There's 8 in total. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yay!
Now we're all clear. Obel Squad. All enemies eliminated. The rambling old man is a little Seed's trophy.
The final sacrifice is about how can swirling dust compete with a blazing fire?
Do all the Exaltists talk like this? It's really hard to understand.
Seed, make him shut up.
Foolish unbelievers!
Hey, Seed Senior, you've got to be careful with how you treat prisoners.
They've done more than enough harm. Being gentle isn't exactly a priority.
What sets these Exaltists apart from typical villains is their fanatical devotion to the Creator. That often drives them to act unpredictably, even if they act in the shadows without rhyme or reason. The miasma remains essential to them. If we follow that trail, it could very well be the weakness that brings them down.
These so-called fanatics are nothing more than villains who treat ether as a deadly poison corrupting new Eridu, aiding and abetting its destruction. Let's see if they stay so devoted when confronted with 50 caliber high explosive rounds and military-grade high-energy lasers!
Calm down, Captain Magus. As vile as the Exaltists are, not every member is guilty. Many innocent civilians were deceived. In other words, not every Exaltist member deserves to be met with 50 caliber high explosive rounds and military-grade high-energy lasers.
We've hardly caught anyone yet, and you're already— I know how to throw around grand quotes, too. Like no snowflake in an avalanche ever feels responsible. You're awfully sympathetic towards these scumbags. Perhaps because you're—
Enough! Captain Magus, I'm pretty sure your remarks have already exceeded the boundaries set by Commander Isolde's temporary protocol for addressing Phaethon, specifically the section designated for Magus.
Huh? How come no one told me about it?
Don't speak harshly to your squad mates, and don't say anything that kills morale. That's what you taught us, Captain Magus.
I don't consider them a comrade. At least not yet.
Whether we're allies who can rely on each other, or simply partners with our own suspicions, let's stick to our duty.
Wouldn't have it any other way, Phaethon.
There's a critical piece of intel that needs our immediate attention. What just emerged from the Obscura is a bioweapon created by the Exaltists, known as a sacri— These Obscura, and the factories that produce them, are scattered throughout Lemnian Hollow.
No, not just Lemnian Hollow. According to the data from Porcelumex and the intel Commander Isolde has gathered, there are a large number of Obscura placed throughout Wi-Fi Peninsula. Over 300 of them.
Over 300? Not even the entire Obsidian division could deal with that many monsters.
There's a critical piece of intel that needs our immediate attention. What just emerged from the Obscura is—
According to the data from Porcelumex and the intel Commander Isolde has gathered, there are a large number of Obscura placed throughout Wi-Fi Peninsula. Over 300 of them.
The entire Obsidian division would just—
We have to get this information to Command immediately. The Exaltists' actions may be far more dangerous than we had anticipated.
No, that's not right. Although I did come across Obscura shards, there's still no solid evidence to confirm that the sacrifices and Obscura are directly connected. The Obscura devices I saw in Phylum Heights didn't all carry traces of sacrifice energy. More importantly, creating a creature as powerful as the sacrifices would require an unimaginable amount of ether. There's no way the Exaltists have access to such an immense supply.
Or they would have destroyed New Eridu. Yeah. Good thing the bad guys we're dealing with this time aren't that powerful. Yet.
Hey, did you two completely forget that courage is a soldier's greatest
Captain, didn't you say that kind of talk is just something generals say to sound impressive?
The proxy has a point, but there's definitely something suspicious about the Obscura and Wi-Fi Peninsula. We need to organize thorough inspections and patrols as soon as possible. Obsidian Division has already mobilized outside Lemnian Hollow. Those Exaltist rats will soon meet their end. Obsidian Division has already mobilized outside Lemnian Hollow. Those Exaltist rats will soon meet their end.
The Fanatic's last stand is often the most ferocious. Everyone, stay sharp and proceed with caution.
After spending over a decade in the military, I understand that all too well.
What Captain Magus meant to say was, thanks for the heads up.
That's not what I meant!
The military operation has started. Here to provide control. Every action leads us closer to meeting our Lord. Take heavy losses with the little strength we have left. We don't need to achieve by time. Sacrifices are never. Fortunately, the Defense Force isn't exactly driven by noble duty they claim to uphold. And once the Orsi completes the ritual, then we're already won. May the Creator refine you. May the Creator refine me. Can risk everything for a spot. Anyway, or she already has.
All in all, the scouting mission was a success. Obel Squad took no casualties. Against our firepower, those Exaltist lunatics didn't stand a chance. It's honestly baffling how HSO and public security got completely outplayed by the Exaltists. Their actions are chaotic and lack any strategy. Though credit goes to Commander Isolde's flawless planning.
The proxy was amazing too. Just like Trigger and Soldier 11 said. And just like all those rumors on Internet.
Huh? Orphe, since when have you been visiting sketchy sites like Internet behind my back?
Help!
Calm down, Captain Magus. What you've dealt with so far are just the Exaltist scattered remnants.
I know. We already have the hollow coordinates for the Exaltist base. I'm not worried about a head-on clash. What worries me are those Obscura and the sacrifice creatures.
Leave the search for the Obscura to me and the city forces. You focus on the mission inside the Hollow. You can't just grasp at weeds. You have to dig out the roots. All this might just be a diversion by the Exaltists. By the way, Proxy, I heard your performance in the Hollow was top-notch as always. How's working with Obel? Has Captain Magus been...
I'll have to think about that. I remember Captain Magus saying that Phaethon is a villain who should be dealt with using 50 caliber high explosive rounds and military grade high energy lasers.
I love Belle. She's my favorite.
Things out of context to make me look like the bad guy. I'm a straight shooter.
Got it. Looks like the temporary protocol for addressing Phaethon doesn't really hold much sway.
It's all because I wasn't decisive enough. Please don't...
Belle's one sassy Hoyoverse protagonist, that's for sure.
She's not the most soft-spoken, but Captain Magus and the squad have been doing their best to support me. And her military-grade high-energy laser.
All right. Without the proxy support, our operation wouldn't have gone this smoothly.
Whew. I guess this is the part where hold grudges...
But if you're that talented, why settle for the dishonorable role of a proxy? Why not join the military? Earn a proper rank?
What's so dishonorable about it? The work we do in the shadows brings us closer to the light than many of those who stand in it.
You're being a little harsh today, Captain.
Proxy. How many unqualified civilians have you led straight into danger within the Hollows? And how many shady Hollow Raiders have you guided?
You're right, Captain Magus. The underworld does have its dark side, but a lot of people are forced into it. They have to avoid the light and just try to survive in the shadows. And this grand, respectable world you speak of, is it really filled with nothing but righteous heroes? Is your defense force really so perfect? Every single person...
You...
All right, kids, enough bickering. The only villain here is the grumpy old Izol.
Looks like the captain got shut down by Commander...
Even the proxy's been lumped in with the kids. Looks like we're all in the same class now.
This concludes the briefing. Proxy, Major General Lorenz has expressed interest in meeting you. Would you mind coming with me later?
The Major General wants to see...
Relax. I'll be with...
Uh-oh.
Sir, your guests have...
Colonel Isolde, I heard that, Obsidian Squad has already obtained the coordinates of the Exaltist headquarters.
That's correct, sir. The recon operation was a success. However, we also discovered something unexpected. There are numerous ether reactors installed around Waifei Peninsula, known as Obscura, which may pose a significant threat.
You can handle the specifics with your squad. You know I've always counted on you. Just make sure I get results.
Yes, sir.
Among all the mediocrity in the Obsidian division, Isolde, you're the one who truly stands out. I'm really glad I found you back then. Someone like you shouldn't be stuck on the front lines. I'm pragmatic, but I always make sure my subordinates are treated fairly. This is a big opportunity, but I went to great lengths to get troops into Waifei Peninsula. So this mission is one we cannot afford to fail.
Yes, sir.
Ah, I seem to have forgotten about our guest. Isolde, the person beside you.
This is the officially appointed Hollow Technical Advisor and the Mayor's Special Envoy for Military Operations.
Welcome to Waifei Peninsula, Ambassador Bell.
I've been in Waifei Peninsula for a while now. Honestly, it's more appropriate for me and Swabian Temple to be the ones welcoming the Defense Force.
Swabian Temple? Ah, Yunque Summit. Pardon my memory, I nearly forgot our guest works directly under Mayor Mayflower. Mind filling me in, Colonel Isolde? Why is one of the mayor's personal agents?
Belle was appointed by the city as a technical advisor and envoy for Mayor Mayflower, sir. She's here to assist and oversee the—
Assist, huh? If the High Preceptor of Yunque Summit had shown up in person, perhaps I'd consider that worthy. And as for the supervision, since when does Mayflower get a say in when Obsidian Division pulls the trigger?
Sir, Belle is only here to assist Obel Squad. This has nothing to do with the main force's operations, all part of the agreement to keep the City Council from meddling with our military affairs in Waifei Peninsula. Which, I imagine, suits you just fine?
Of course. Your arrangements are always right on point, Colonel. This whole operation is running smoothly, thanks to you. Well then, since you're the Hollow experts and personally by the mayor, it's only right that I give you a proper— Unfortunately, military secrecy is of utmost importance. So I'm afraid I can't escort Belle to the more refined venues in the city for a proper celebration, at least for now. Colonel Isolde, until this operation is over, all of Belle's external communications and movements beyond Phylum Heights must be temporarily restricted.
That's a very unique way to treat a guest.
Major General, the mayor and Yunque Summit—
That's an order.
Yes, sir.
The people from Porcelumix are still waiting for me in Phylum Heights. Something about a banquet to welcome the Defense Force to Waifei Peninsula. Typical corporate parasites. Always know how to adapt and survive. I'm afraid I won't be able to personally entertain our guest.
Let's go, Madam.
Oh?
Captain, Proxy—
No significant change in pulse. And you look so frail, Proxy. Who would have thought you had the makings of a soldier tough enough?
With you already calling me the villain, I figured I'd better get good at dodging torture.
The Major General may be tough to deal with, but interrogating the Mayor's envoy? That kind of thing doesn't happen in the...
Temporarily restricting the proxy's movements and communications. What does that mean?
It means we've got your precious Phaethon locked away. No way out, and no texting or calling family.
That's just... so...
That's terrible!
What a shame. I never thought the legendary proxy Phaethon would end up getting caught one day.
On the plus side, at least the legendary proxy Phaethon was caught by Obsidian Squad. The Major General's idea of hospitality might be questionable, but for a soldier, orders are orders.
So, as much as we regret it, the legendary proxy Phaethon will have to stay put in Phylum Heights for a while.
You sure you're sorry, Captain? I'm pretty sure you were holding back a laugh just now.
Don't worry. Obsidian Squad and the Obsidian Division are the first line of defense against the Hollows. We'll wipe out the Exaltists faster than you'd think.
And then the proxy will be free.
As ordered, a technician will now attach a tracker to the proxy and temporarily block... My apologies, Proc.
For the Obsidian Division, orders carry more weight than mountains. I don't like restricting someone's freedom like this. And I'm not exactly your biggest fan. But I hope you won't hold it against Isolde or the Squad.
I may not be a soldier, but I can understand the weight orders carry for all of you. If temporarily restricting my freedom helps the operation go smoothly and keeps the people of Wi-Fi Peninsula safe, I'll gladly go along with it.
I never thought you'd show such resolve, Proxy. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on you while you're with us.
Captain Magus keeping an eye on you? Just a heads up, she's not exactly the caring type.
If temporarily restricting my freedom helps the operation go smoothly and keeps the people of Wi-Fi Peninsula safe, I'll gladly go along with it.
I never thought you'd show such resolve, Proxy. I never thought you'd show such resolve, Proxy. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on you while you're with us.
Once again, Proxy, you have my...
Huh?
As Master's supreme assistant and a thoughtful, all-purpose AI, I would never sit back helplessly while Master's freedom is being restricted. Unlike the second...
Fairy, you really can't stop chasing that first assistant title, can you? When will you finally understand that as her sibling, I'm irreplaceable?
Alright, you two, enough arguing. I'm just the pitiful, useless captured...
Negative. Although Master was unfortunately captured, Master remains an elite...
Save your useless sympathy, first assist. Luckily, not even the Hollows can interfere with the HDD's unique signal, so the Defense Force's jamming is barely an...
Still, I was the one who actually...
Which means Bell can still reach me through the HDD, and EOS's deep dive can continue as planned.
I saw some new data with my eye implants in the Hollow. I need you to run some calculation. Whether or not the military's info checks out, nothing is more trustworthy than your calculations, Fairy.
Affirmative. Additionally, I've made a full copy of the military intel files that EOS and Master saw.
If the Defense Force comes knocking because you did something without permission, make sure they know Second Assistant and your Master had nothing to do with it. Anyway, leave the rest to me and Fairy Bell, just like always. If the Defense Force comes knocking because you did something without permission, make sure they know Second Assistant and your Master had nothing to do with it.
Then leave clearing out the Hollow to me and Noble Squad, just like always.
The Defense Force's mission is bound to be dangerous. Be careful, Belle.
All units be advised. At 3 o'clock, 300 meters. A cluster of miasma. Ethereal presence confirmed. Something's off. Are those humans coming out of there? Hey, look! Someone's crawling out of the miasma!
Why are they wearing Defense Force uniforms?
They're coming closer. And they're armed! We're under attack! Fight back! Enemy spotted at 3 o'clock. More at 5 o'clock.
Oh, is it the Exaltist troops in disguise?
No, they emerged from the miasma. They're definitely not alive.
What the are we seeing the dead in broad daylight?
Ethereal or monster, just take them down. Reporting in. We've got casualties. We've got another wave of hostiles closing in on the right. We need backup.
Just as the Overseer said, even a miracle like resurrection is nothing for the Creator!
Don't let joy blind you, my dear brother. Until we stand before the Creator,
Every miracle is just a small step toward the gate of the
Final domain.
Don't worry. My joy hasn't clouded my judgment, and my knowledge as a researcher remains sharp.
These guys are powerful. It's a little bit batshit insane.
Already begun ahead of schedule. They'll never catch up to us on our path to the create.
The Exaltists have already figured out that we're launching a full-scale operation? So far, only Obsidian Squad's scouting mission involved direct combat. What that recon team ran into was likely just an unfortunate but your operation was flawless, and no part of the plan was leaked. That means either the Exaltists are more perceptive than we thought, or some unit acted outside my command and carried out an unsanctioned mission.
But Lorenz handed over command of this operation to you.
So if we rule out interference from higher up, the only one who could have mobilized troops without the colonel...
Only the Major General himself.
Looks like Colonel Isolde has it even tougher than I do when it comes to dealing with a demanding superior.
Orphe, you don't actually think I'm that difficult to deal with, do you?
At this point, arguing with my...
So if we want the raid to stay on track, we'll have to...
While I usually think you're a little too reckless, Magus, this time, I agree with you. Swift as the wind, fierce as fire, and unknowable as shadow. That's the essence of Blitz tactics. At least according to a Yunque Summit scroll. Since the enemy already knows we're coming, let's seize this rare opportunity and strike before...
Obsidian Squad, gear up and get ready!
Yes, Captain Magus!
I'm about to start deploying troops to launch the offensive. Proxy, both the battlefield and the hollows can shift in an instant. Make sure you're fully prepared. We aren't as ready as we could have been. The Obsidian Division will handle the battlefield, but when it comes to the hollow, you're the only one we could count on.
Leave it to me. On my reputation as a legendary proxy and my honor as the mayor's envoy, I won't let you down. I'm counting on all of you, too. Please, don't betray the trust the people have placed in the Defense Force.
Save it. We're well aware.
What the captain means is, Obel never fails a mission.
The unexpected deployment of forces beyond Isolde's plan has put the Exaltists on high alert. Like a startled bird ready to flee. We can't risk the Exaltist core members escaping right under our noses. We have to strike quickly and hit their key base.
Based on the intelligence we have, the target's stronghold in this operation is very likely the Exaltists' main base.
I'm not usually one to spoil the mood, but from what I've seen of the Exaltists, they're not that easy to pin down. Which raises the question, Can we really trust the intel from the
You really know your way around intelligence and information warfare, Proxy. But it's Isolde's strategy and intel that have been key to the Defense Force's success so far. I understand your concerns, but I've no reason to doubt the reliability of Isolde's intel.
Captain Magus, you sure have a lot of trust in Commander Isolde, don't you?
That's because Captain Magus and Commander Isolde were comrades in arms. They fought side by side years ago.
Technically, fighting side by side isn't exactly accurate. But yes, Isolde and I go way back. She's a comrade, a senior, and my commanding officer. In fact, Obsidian Squad itself wouldn't exist without Isolde's support and guidance. If I can't trust Isolde, then there might not be anyone left in Obsidian Division I can trust.
I understand. So please believe me, when I'm acting as your proxy, my one and only goal is to lead you all to where you're meant to be.
The Defense Force people are here.
Yeah. Who goes there? Petty thugs, blocking the way to the Creator.
The Creator will not forgive them. Our sacrifice will pave the way for our Master's return.
Hostile target highly active. Intimate its attacks.
Gotcha covered. Let's provide cover fire.
Continuing combat until target neutralized.
Flash attack!
Annihilating all hostiles within visual range.
Show no mercy.
Which unit are you in? According to Commander Isolde's orders, aside from Obsidian Squad, there shouldn't be any other squads.
Isolde may be the acting commander for this op, but our squad reports to Major General Lorette.
So, these idiots are the ones who alerted the Exaltists to our plan. And it was all under orders from the Major General?
Mind your tone. The Major General sent us because he was worried you wouldn't be able to handle this alone. We're here to support the operation.
Support the operation? We were just out there fighting alone as a...
That's right. And we really do appreciate it. Without you taking the brunt of the Exaltists' attention, we couldn't have made it to their headquarters from the... we have to apologize. We accidentally beat you to it and ended up taking the credit for wiping out...
Credit? That's meaningless. Is this really the attitude of new recruits in Obsidian Division these days?
Acting all high and mighty. You're just a gun. Do you really think yourself so... I may be a rookie, but at least I'm not a washed-up old dog like you.
Watch it! The captain has given everything to protect the city. You don't deserve to...
It's okay, Orphe. As long as they really did take out the Exaltists, then they've helped safeguard new areas.
Even among comrades, there are plenty of annoying ones. If you ask me, we should just take this guy away and cover it up as an accident caused by an Exaltist attack.
Hey, are you threatening...
Stay focused, soldier. Answer me. Has the Exaltist's base been completely cleared?
Several creatures took advantage of the chaos to escape. We had other orders to carry out, so we didn't have time to pursue them while clearing the base.
Other orders? What could be more important than...
Bunch of fools. They can't even handle something this simple properly. Obel soldiers, let's move out. Once again, it's up to us to clean up after these fools. Obel, gear up and get ready.
Yes, Captain Matt. The Exaltists are fleeing in all directions.
Second-rate troops sure are surprisingly good at messing things up. Who would ever call this an ambush? We've already failed half of the mission's objective.
Hopefully we can still find some useful documents and materials. Oh? Elite targets have appeared.
That's the kind of fight Obel Squad's been waiting for.
Press the advantage. Ether vision activate.
It's not over yet!
I'll pierce right through.
Circle them!
You're in my sights. Ether vision activate.
Look! Pretty fireworks!
Everything is moving along smoothly, Mr. Lucro.
We'll be counting on you again this time.
What? Unbelievable.
Major General Lorenz.
You're the squad Isolde spoke so highly of. Codename... Oh, this is quite a surprise. You arrived even faster than I expected. It's just as Colonel Isolde said. You're quite a capable squad.
You son of a... Oh my god. You're working with Lorenzo?
Given that you're leading this entire operation, I'd expect you to be at the command post.
Lucro.
You must be Mr. Lucro. We met briefly.
A reception banquet for a safety inspection? That makes...
This, gun certainly has a blunt matter of speech. Ah, we are acquainted from the banquet, aren't we? Also involved with the Obsidian division, I see. For someone so young, you must have made quite the impact with the military.
Not so, Mr. Lucro. This young lady is the mayor's envoy, specially sent by the kind-hearted Mr. Mayflower to oversee our work.
I'm just doing my duty. Please, the title of envoy is a bit too much. I feel like it's a little too high and mighty.
So you're a distinguished guest from city administration.
So, what brings you here, Major General, Mr. Lucro, and these troops who've been
My troops and I have our reason. You're a veteran, Captain Magus. Even if you don't fully grasp what overstepping means, you should at least know not to ask about classified military matters. Mind your tongue. After all, besides your sharp tongue, there's not much else you have left.
Major General, shouldn't we be going? Staying too long in areas with high ether activity isn't good.
You're right, Mr.
Aside from that clerk I met at the Special Military Affairs desk, these are honestly the two... sorry, Captain Magus.
I'll let it slide this time, Orphe. If I weren't afraid of getting you all tried at a military tribunal, I'd have turned every curse word into high-energy laser blasts right at their face.
This place is not only a key Exaltist stronghold, but also one of Porsa Lumex's executives previously worked with the Exaltists. Many of their facilities were originally Porsa Lumex's assets as well. And now under Lucro's lead, Porsa Lumex has formed ties with the Defense Force. It's clear why...
You're making my head spin. Isn't it just those two plotting how to profit?
Goodness. Commander Lorenz is...
Orphe is still caught up in that naive teenage mindset of seeing the world in just good and bad.
Goodness, Orphe. You really are a fool. But I can't say you're wrong this time. They chose to meet in the Hollow, likely to stay under the radar. Either way, everyone, we keep pursuing the...
Yes, Captain
Oh my god, her design in-game looks gorgeous! Ugh! I mean, the red and black are striking. Two of my favorite colors. Perfect. They wasted enough time on mean distractions. That was a foolish general who thinks he already claimed enough victories. The price was nothing more than a few necessary sacrifices. They died for their faith, Overseer. It's cool, really. It is an answer to the creator. We go open the path to the creator for you. It's in my justified. Or unless you have to.
Huh?
Valley stable, it's nurture. Is a result. Good team. Time for me to take care of yourself. Two soldiers. So.
Everyone! The Exaltists, the threat that plagued Waifei Peninsula, have been wiped out under our thunderous assault!
Keep telling yourself that, buddy.
Once again, we've brought justice and victory to the people of New Eridu! Like every tribe, give it up for yourselves, soldiers! Cheer for victory!
And let's hear it for our brilliant commander, Major General...
I hate to be that girl, but
that commander sure seems to be soaking up the cheers.
A typical big...
You're right to be concerned, Proxy. There are still Exaltist stragglers roaming inside and outside the Hollow, and the Obscura in the city haven't been fully inspected yet.
As far as I know, the key Exaltist leaders are still on the loose. They've managed to slip away after every encounter so far. The Exaltists will still be a threat until they're taken out. Even though Mevarok was severely injured by Ishuan Shifu, and the Exaltists suffered heavy losses, there's still no sign of them backing down. Miasma activity is still spreading. Key people like Sarah still hold major
Ishuan, High Preceptor of Yunquai Summit?
How come I don't see Colonel Isolde anywhere? As the operations leader, shouldn't she be here?
Isolde has been unwell recently, and went back to the city to rest. She's also been absent.
Maybe the commander's like Proxy, and isn't fond of these kinds of gatherings. She might have just found an excuse to slip.
You might be right. In any case, we've dealt a heavy blow to the Exaltists. And after fighting on the verge of life and death, the soldiers...
That doesn't sound like something our strict...
Think of it as me trying to lift everyone's spirits. As soldiers, it is our duty to... So even when we have doubts,
If you take action without orders, you'll be I might not mind, but I'm sure Seed Senior would stop.
I don't want anyone ending up in front of a military tribunal.
Right. Since it is a military order, the Major's restriction on you can't be lifted until the operation is officially concluded. Sorry about that.
I understand. Obel Squad and all the other soldiers have already given so much to protect New Eridu. Everyone should enjoy this hard-earned victory.
Thank you,
The plot thick.
Actually, I've already heard about Lucro personally entering the Hollow and the Major General's movements. Besides relocating Porcelumex and the Exaltist stock of Porcelume, they're rounding up trusted members who served under Ferox, including my poor colleagues who fled into the Hollow's labs, fearing the dust hasn't even settled. Yet they're already discarding what they no longer need, proving that the only thing crueler than one ruthless boss is another. I have no place in Tops any longer. And the Defense Force won't seek justice for a stray like me.
Even though you played a major role in taking down Ferox, your new boss won't tolerate you for...
Exactly. I can't stand stray dogs like you always sniffing out scraps to survive. Like I ever had a choice. Honestly, I was already planning to turn to you and Yunque Summit for help. Regardless of our differences, you are among the few in Waifei Peninsula who have the power, care about justice, and are willing. A stray like me is used to bowing.
Unfortunately, no matter how much power we might have, we're just as constrained as you are now. I can't contact anyone at Yunque Summit for assistance, but... if it's...
It's alright. Just when I was at my wit's end, Miss Savior appeared.
Hiya! I'm the savior he was talking about.
Oh my god, who are you?
It's funny. Most company employees usually see me as a disaster. Who would have thought I'd ever be called a savior?
Allow me to introduce you. This is Miss Zhao from TOPS, affiliated with the Krampus Compliance Authority.
Nice to meet you, Miss Zhao. The Krampus Compliance Authority. Is that the name of another company within TOPS? It doesn't sound as familiar to me as the other big companies.
That's alright. Most people haven't heard of it. Krampus isn't actually a company. Our role is to inspect, decide on, and enforce regulations. Brutal competition is an inherent flaw of the market system. For the members at the round table, it doesn't matter if the company's executives are tearing each other apart. However, the condition is that all actions by the company and its management must comply with the core rules and interests of the Alliance. The business game doesn't always let us play by the rules. That's the round table's mercy. But when those rule breakers go too far, the strict mother reaches out with her black branch. This time, Porcelumix has clearly stepped out of line. The business game doesn't always let us play by the rules. That's the round table's mercy. But when those rule breakers go too far, the strict mother reaches out with her black branch.
I think I get why the corporations might see members of Krampus as a disaster. Even so, having regulators like you is probably a key reason TOPS has managed to maintain.
So, it's not hard for you to understand why I see Miss Zhao as my savior.
We'll only know whether I'm your savior or your disaster once all the investigations are complete.
Better than letting someone like Lucro treat you like a fish on a chopping board.
Although he isn't really a friend, I do sort of get Damien's stock. He's determined to survive this brutal game. But he's also someone who never crosses the line.
Huh. You've got sharp and beautiful eyes. I hope you'll never become the enemy of Krampus. And that when those eyes look at me again, they won't be filled with hostility, Miss Bell.
I think this is where we leave off. Anyway, thank you so much. This is Spike Bebop. Peace out.